Warning: Epic Universe spoilers ahead. Everything will be discussed in detail. As you may know, we just took a trip to the newest and hottest theme park in the world, Epic Universe, down in Orlando, Florida. I want to take a moment to give you guys a full and honest review of this amusement park and just exactly how I thought about it. But let's not waste any time and get right into this video because I have a lot of thoughts. First up when you walk in is the main hub, Celestial Park. When you walk in, there are two gift shops, one on the right and one on the left. I preferred the one on the left as it was a little bit bigger and had just better merch for the lands, in my opinion. However, there wasn't any merch that was dedicated for Celestial Park alone or Stardust Racers, which is what I really wanted. That's the merch I thought would have went the best out of all of them. And I wasn't a fan of the Nintendo merch or the Burke merch. The Burke merch I thought was a little bit too kid-like, and the Nintendo merch was too kid-like, and the Ministry merch just wasn't my style, and the Dark Universe stuff wasn't my style, and so I was really hoping the Celestial Park merch would be there, but it was not. So that's something that I think they need to improve in the future is actually get Celestial Park merch already and Stardust merch because I didn't see any of it. But if you guys did, please let me know because I would love to get some of that. The one on the left is also combined with a chocolate store, and the chocolate store looked amazing. I didn't try anything in it, but the chocolate itself, the fudge, it looked really good. And I would want to go try it at some point, but I was just too sidetracked with getting some of the other desserts. If you keep going to your right, you will run into the Isle of Burke portal. We'll get to that a little bit later, but it does look amazing when you first walk past it. Next up is Stardust Racers. I will do a full review on both of these two roller coasters in one video later on. So I'm going to save all my thoughts on that for later. But overall, this is an amazing headlining attraction. I wouldn't say I prefer it to Velocicoaster as it is my second favorite, or my second favorite attraction at a Disney or Universal park. Overall, this is a great attraction, though, packed with airtime, speed, and head choppers. This is a fully complete ride with that onboard audio. I didn't get a dual, however, so that took away a little bit from it, but it still was a really good ride. I mean, the airtime was insane. It felt like so much airtime in the first half, and the second half, you're just flying through it with those low-to-the-ground head choppers. I just really wish I could have gotten a race, but hopefully I get that in May when I go. Next up, you'll come to the Ministry portal, which we'll get to in a second as well. But then you come up to a hotel that's inside the park, the Grand Helios. And it actually looks amazing from the outside. Very nice, very elegant. But it doesn't look necessarily themed like some like the Disney hotels that people love. And also just looks very elegant. Maybe more like a Grand Floridian, but not as elegant as that, of course. But something along those lines. I did not go inside it and look, though, because I didn't stay there, so I just felt a little weird going up to it. But it looked very nice. The courtyard outside with all the flowers looked very nice as well. The carousel in the middle of this land looks beautiful. It's a perfect centerpiece for this outstanding looking land. It really does feel like you're in a transportation hub in the stars, I guess. Perfect centerpiece for the land, though. My thoughts on it, basically on the entire ride, is that it is just a carousel, and while it is a cool carousel, you're moving in a different direction than a traditional carousel. You're like spinning on a couple different axes, and you spin in a couple different directions. Your pole spins, and it's all different, cool, and overall just a good addition to the park. But it is just a carousel at the end of the day. So, lastly, though, we did get two food options and a drink from this area: the Pizza Moon and the Barbecue Place, along with the Celestial Spritz. So, Pizza Moon, guys, I'm not kidding. This might be my favorite restaurant in any theme park ever, as well as maybe the best pizza I've ever had in my life. The sweet potato, the purple sweet potato crust is actually elite. There's just no other way to put it. It tasted so good. It was sweet. It was savory. It was amazing. The mushroom one was overhyped. I don't know why people said it was the best pizza they've ever had. It was a run of the mill, normal mushroom pizza, but it was still good. I wouldn't say it was bad by any means. And then the stracciatella one was also a very good pizza, but it just wasn't even close to that sweet potato pizza. I seriously suggest you guys try that sweet potato pizza if you haven't had a chance yet. Um, at this Pizza Moon place, I also got the s'mores cookie, which was phenomenal. It might be the best theme park dessert I've ever gotten. It's up there with the Hershey Park shake. I got the chocolate one because I'm a big chocolate fan, or the cinnamon bread. It's right up there with those two. It's delicious. I would share it with someone. It was a lot of food and a lot of gooey goodness. Okay, we got the barbecue at the Oak and Star Tavern as well, which is also a nice little brew house with some alcoholic drinks, and there was also live entertainment when we went there as well. There was a woman and a man singing. They were doing like an improv type of song where they would ask people in the crowd, "Oh, tell me something you liked about your day the most," or "Where'd you come from?" And then they would try to make the song I remember was "Take Me Home, Country Roads" by John Denver, and she was just trying to match everywhere anyone's from. So we had Chicago in there, we had Baltimore in there, L.A., San Diego were some of the ones I've heard. And yeah, she was singing "Take Me Home, Country Roads," and then all those places. So that was pretty cool and just a nice little touch that I didn't expect from an inside of an amusement park, which is just another little thing that I love about this place. It really feels like you're in another world when you go here. It doesn't feel like anything I've ever been to. It's just amazing. But I got the baked beans as my side. The mango bread was awesome. All their barbecues are pretty good, but they did taste like, just barbecues. I preferred the spicier one. So Josh and I split. We both got the 2 meats, 1 side option, where I ended up getting the brisket and half chicken, and he ended up getting the smoked sausage and pulled pork. And then I got the barbecue baked beans and mango bread because it came with mango bread. So that mango bread was awesome. The burnt ends baked beans, sorry. But I also got a purple monster, whatever the electric purple ultraviolet monster is there. And I don't know, I was just having a little headache from no caffeine. And I've never had that one before, and honestly, it just tasted like purple. I don't know how else to explain it to you. It just tasted like purple. But then we also got the Celestial Spritz from this area as well, which was my least favorite of the 3, but still good. I would say it was a Sprite-like taste to it. It was just a little bland for my liking out of the specialty drinks of the land, so that's why it's my least favorite of the 3. I just love the attention to detail in this park too. It's probably my favorite collection of food out of any theme park that I've been to all around. The Pizza Moon, the barbecue. We'll get to Meat Hall later, the bread bowls as well, and a couple other things. But I think they're doing a really good job with actually making their food good and what I want to go and eat. First off, this was just everything I wanted and more. The instant I walked into the area, I thought to myself, this is the best themed land I've ever been to. As a huge and biased How to Train Your Dragon fan, Isle of Berk is basically a one-to-one copy of the movies, and it's just beautiful in every single way. Well, we did almost everything there is to do in this area and spent a bunch of time soaking it all in over the 2 days. So let's just start off with some of the reviews. Hiccup's Wing Gliders is the family attraction in this area, and it is super fun. I will also go into depth on this one in a later date, though, but it's a good family coaster with some good forces, so not too much to complain about there. We did not do the flat ride there, the dueling air flat ride. But it looked amazing visually, of course. I just wasn't going to wait 50 minutes for something that I could drive 4 hours to MOA, Mall of America, or Lost Island to do, which I just did this past weekend. Fire drill was actually really fun and really well themed as well. I was a little underwhelmed when I heard that they were just opening with this as their water ride. But after getting off it, especially as my home park used to be Great America in the Chicago area, I was never a big fan of Buccaneer Battle because it was just a plot of land and then you shot at random stuff. But this one's themed actually really well. It's directly from the movies with their firefighting initiative. And it really looks like a training set that they would put together on the movie. And so while some people might think that, oh, wow, it's just wood and cardboard lookalikes, yeah, that's how it would have been in the movies too. So I really enjoyed it. And on top of that, it's a game. It's you are playing against the other team, and however good your team is doing, the other team will get progressively more soaked, and adversely, your team won't get soaked at all. And so my team actually did really, really well, and the other team got soaked behind us. And everyone on our team except for Jack came off the ride perfectly dry. Jack got soaked by the boat in front of us, which I'll get to right now. At one point during this ride, you start to turn, and you can see the other boat. And I was on the very right side of our boat, so I was able to shoot at this other boat, and I absolutely drenched 3 of the guys in front of us because I was just able to shoot them, and I thought it was going to be funny. Overall, though, this is a great family ride. The kids seemed to really like it when we were there, and I did too. It was just a good ride in general. But I wouldn't wait terribly long for it again because it is just a Buccaneer Battle-like attraction, but it was still good. I'll give it its props. We can move on to the show, though, Untrainable Dragon, which I did go to. This is my first ever show at an amusement park. So you could say this is my favorite show of all time, which would be true, and it was enjoyable, so I'm going to stand by that. It was an enjoyable show. However, the Toothless animatronic was not working, and that was a huge letdown, making it felt like a minute or two shorter, maybe even more, as we missed an entire scene. But that was a huge letdown. I've seen that animatronic going on videos, and it just looks beautiful. But my favorite part had to be when they fogged up the entire room, and then it started to clear, and the theme song started playing. And as it started to clear, you're flying in onto Burke, and it just looked beautiful, magnificent. It just perfect scene, perfect everything put together. Overall, though, even though shows aren't my thing, I would totally sit through this again. It was about 15-30 minutes. I don't remember exactly how long, but especially to see the Toothless animatronic work, I would go back and see it again. Which is kind of a theme with this park. Animatronics not working, Monsters pre-show's not working, Stardust not racing. Seems like they're having a little bit of issues in this opening year, but hey, it happens. Lastly, we got some food and drink in this area. We got the 2 bread bowls, or 2 of the 3 bread bowls, the chicken mac bowl and the pork mac bowl. And then we got the meat hall platter to share as a group. And then we also got the specialty drink from this area. So first I want to take a second to just fully appreciate the chicken mac bowl. This has to be my second favorite thing I ate on the trip, behind Pizza Moon, and probably the best snack food I've ever had in an amusement park. I mean, the chicken bread bowl, it was seasoned so well. The bread was seasoned well. The mac and cheese was cheesy and good. It wasn't cheap mac and cheese like you would expect out of an amusement park. The chicken itself was extremely well seasoned and just amazing. Not the same story with the pork mac bowl, even though it was still good. It was just like a regular pulled pork and barbecue mac bowl, as you would expect. And while it was still good, I don't know if I would necessarily get that again, even if it was the only option. But the chicken bread bowl is just elite, so I would get it every time I went. We also got the meat hall platter, which was really good. It's a huge platter with chicken, salmon, fries, onions, carrots, sausage, and pickles. The star of the show, in my opinion, was the chicken drumsticks, as they are right up my alley and they are smoked to perfection with this barbecue sauce on it that is very good. Also, the star of the show, I was using that barbecue sauce with my fries, and that was the only reason I actually wanted to eat the fries because the barbecue sauce was so good. And yeah, I would. It wouldn't be the first thing I would tell you guys to get. It would out of all the dining options I got, but it would probably rank second instead or right behind Pizza Moon, but in front of the barbecue is where I would put it personally. This land looked amazing at night with great lights and fire, but just not my favorite land at night. Honestly, probably the worst of the lands at night, just because Celestial Park shows off like the beautiful park lights and the aesthetic of it all. Um, 1920s Paris just really looks complete, even though that's probably my second least favorite. Nintendo World looks like you are in the video game. And Dark Universe, of course, should be viewed at night. All right, on to Ministry of Magic. This land is basically just a street from 1920s Paris, and I absolutely love it. It looks stunning and perfect, and has the best sightlines out of any of these lands. Not that I'm in the crowd that says Epic Universe has the worst sightlines in all Orlando theme parks. I think it's fine. It serves what it's supposed to do. Yes, there's sightline issues in Burke and in Celestial Park and in Dark Universe. Those are the big ones. Ministry of Magic and Nintendo World, when you are in those two lands, it feels like you are completely immersed. Of course, you can see Nintendo Land from outside. You can't see anything about Ministry of Magic. When you walk through that portal, it really does feel like you just went into another world. Um, Still my least favorite land out of all of them, just because personally, Ministry Magic, Harry Potter stuff doesn't do it for me as much as the other themed areas in this land. Um, I'm just more of a fan of the other themed areas. Personally, of course, I totally would get it if someone said it was their favorite themed land. All of these are amazing, so I get it. There's only one ride here, and we only got one item of food plus a butterbeer, and did not even go to the show. So there's not too much to talk about here. But let's start it off. Let's start off with the Battle of Ministry. First off, this is either the best queue in the world or the second best behind one of the others in this park. I mean, the first big room you walk into after the fireplace, you are transported into the Ministry of Magic. Like, it is insane, unbelievable, amazing. I can't even begin to describe the feeling of walking into that land and just being blown away, absolutely blown away. The ride to me though was underwhelming, but still good. Maybe I'm just not that big of a dark ride guy sometimes, or maybe I'm just not a big Harry Potter fan. The animatronics of the Death Eaters though are so good that I genuinely thought it was a real person acting the first time I went through, and had to go a second time to believe my eyes when someone told me no, that is an animatronic. And so that is amazing. My issue with the ride is it feels like a screen ride. Like you're just in front of a screen for a majority of it, kind of moving up and down like a motion simulator, kind of like, like Spider-Man sometimes, or like uh, Simpsons sometimes. And so it's just, I don't know. It was good. The story was lackluster. I do think it was a good story up until the ending, which just really makes me upset. It's so anticlimactic. It's like Volcano at Lost Island, which I'll get to at a later date. But like 1 second, Umbridge is escaped and running away, and then with no explanation at all, she is just caught by Harry, and it just doesn't make sense in my brain. It just really doesn't make sense in my brain. So that's my big issue with it. But overall, I do really think it's a great ride, and I respect the ride technology being new. I would describe it as a mix between Spider-Man and Tower of Terror, and that's how the ride feels too. Like lots of motion up and down. It is decently thrilling. After my first ride on it, I really came off it disappointed. After my second and third, it was better, but still not the best. But in all honesty, it's just Harry Potter just isn't really my thing. So I'm very positive. I've heard people say it's their favorite dark ride of all time. I can respect it. It's probably in my top 5, but I just can't get myself to say that it is better than the other dark ride in the park, or maybe even Forbidden Journey or Spider-Man for that matter. Um, Onto the food though, we got the butterbeer crepe, which was really good. But listen to me when I tell you to split this with a friend, because I had half of the. There was 2 crepes there, so I guess I had 1 crepe, and it was getting to the point where it was too much for me. It's very sweet, very good flavor, and I would get it again, but it was just so sweet. And so I would just say to make sure you split it with a friend, and yeah, that's basically all for that. I mean, it was a good dessert. The butterbeer though actually blew me away. I don't remember liking butterbeer nearly this much. The sweet cream on top is really what made it for me. And while I do really just think butterbeer is just cream soda and a hint of butterscotch, it is still better than that straight cash grab that I remember it to be. So overall, very good. The sweet cream really did make it, though, so that's what I would look out for. All right, on to Dark Universe, which is the most interesting section in the park, in my opinion. It is the only true IP in this amusement park, as Universal fully owns this entire section. All the Universal monsters from the 50s, they own all of that. But they do not own Nintendo or Ministry of Magic or technically DreamWorks, even though they have a very close relationship with them. And obviously Celestial Park is a fully new land. So this is the first actual IP we're getting to. And it just looks great. So let's just start off with, right when you walk in, you see you walk through the portal and then this wooden bridge, and then boom, fog in a cemetery. And it might have been just because it was so rainy out, but it just looked beautiful when we walked through it. It just really set the mood, and when you turn left, it opens up into the street, which really looks like a street from Germany, I would say, just old Europe, and it's just beautiful. There's no other way to describe it. From the pavement under your feet, which is bricks, to the way the buildings look, the signs hanging from the buildings, it all felt very similar to what I expect it to feel like, to be honest. And it was just beautiful. And then you look at Frankenstein's castle, and it's just stunning. And the burning windmill itself is awesome and made this section even more amazing. But let's get off to the 2 rides. I want to first start off by saying Monsters Unchained is probably, no, actually, without a doubt, my favorite dark ride of all time. By honestly, maybe a tier, maybe even 2 tiers. It's that much better than all the other dark rides. It has thrill, it has a story, it has animatronics, it has the animatronics to the screen look the exact same. So whenever you see an animatronic and then boom, you hit a screen section, it looks the exact same, and it's perfect, flawless. Literally could not want anything else with this ride. It has my favorite moment on a dark ride ever, which I will get more in depth onto this ride, as it will be probably the only dark ride I do a full in-depth review of, at least for now, until a later date. But it's amazing, beautiful. The queue is as good as Ministry, but in a totally different way. Ministry is like elegant, and how did they build this entire structure here, and wow, it really feels like I'm in this place. And this feels like, yeah, I am in Darkmoor, in a museum, seeing everything for the first time, and it's all perfect. Next is Curse of the Werewolf, which I've heard a lot of bad things about. So this was actually very surprising to me when I got off it, and I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was great by any means. It's a really short ride. Everything you hear about that, it's a really short ride. In the netting around it definitely looks bad. It doesn't look as bad as other people say, but it definitely doesn't look great. But I'll just get into the ride because I don't think I'll do a full review of this one. You start off with the launch and go up and around, and then into like the show building where you see the two werewolf animatronics. Which, to be honest, I didn't even see or realize they were there the first time. I don't know how or why. But then you launch backward into the turnaround you just came out of, and you stall there. And I was in the back cart, and you actually got a pretty decent bit of hang time, especially because we were turned looking at the ground. You got a decent bit of hang time there, and then you went through the other part of the swing launch, which was actually fantastic. The 5 seconds where this ride is good, it's a really good ride, but it is 5 seconds long. So like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's the second worst ride in the park, and well, I'm not counting the carousel, but it's the second worst ride in the park probably. I'm not counting the flat ride in Burke either or Fire Drill, but out of the major rides that we were all expecting to be major rides, it's the second worst. And I don't know, it did it for me a little bit more. I know for a fact I like it better than Donkey Kong, which we'll get to in a second, but it's just kind of pointless at the same time. But you need some rides like that for the kids. It's nice and easy and it's fun, but it's at the end of the day, it is 5 seconds long when it's good. So the entrance sign into this ride is the best entrance sign I've maybe ever seen ever. And you might hear me saying this a lot. A lot of things in this park are the best thing I've ever seen. And that is because this is just such a good park. So whenever you hear me harping on something, it's not because it was bad. It's really just more because it's not up to the standard of the rest of the park, which you need sometimes. Though, like, not everyone can take the high thrill like I can. Not everyone wants the scariness of Monsters Unchained like I do. So I totally understand that people need a break and people need to go on these other rides, and that's great. I need to do it once. I probably wouldn't go back into it, but I totally get that if it's someone else's favorite ride. I mean, Flight of the Hippogriff used to be my favorite ride at Islands, so I get it. Onto the tavern. The tavern is maybe my favorite place in the park. Again, here we go. My favorite thing. But thematically, it was actually as if I walked into an old tavern back in Germany. And honestly, just the fire on the windmill, it's so cool. The burning blade, it just, I'm just going to plop it on the screen and give you guys a second to watch it. Didn't get any food from here. Didn't get any food from anywhere in this section, but yeah, it was very cool. The specialty drink in this land was my second favorite. I don't really remember the taste at this exact moment, but it was very sweet for my memory. Purple as well. But overall, I love this themed area, and I cannot wait to go see it again in May. Onto Nintendo World. Nintendo World looks amazing, but it shines at night. I'm just not gonna sugarcoat it at all. It really feels like you're in a video game at night. This is probably my favorite section to be at night because of how immersive it feels. You enter through a green tube like escalators, uh, like the game, which I absolutely love. Then you walk through Peach's Castle and get to see it behind you. Peach's Castle, while it does look small, it does look exactly like the video games, and it's very beautiful, very cool. You open up and you see Super Mario World, and like hills, rolling hills, and the blocks and bricks and all the stuff you see in the regular Mario World, and it does look beautiful. The one thing I will knock on it is that it's really loud. Like, all you can hear, you can't hear your own thoughts. It is just loud, loud, loud. So that's the only complaint I have about really this land, except for the rides. So first, in this Mario World, you will hit up Mario Kart, and honestly, Mario Kart is just overwhelming for me. There's too much going on. This is an augmented reality or AR dark ride technology. If you don't know what AR is, basically it's virtual reality where you put on big virtual reality glasses and you see a whole nother world. It's that, but instead of big glasses, you put on like a visor and you see the outside world, but it projects visions on you as if there was a 3D projector around you at all times. And the objective of this game then is to gain 100 points. And how do you do that? So you shoot enemies with these green shells, which is 1 point, or you turn when the red arrow pops up in your AR glasses, which is 3 points. However, if you shoot someone from Team Mario, like Peach, Mario, Luigi, any of those people, you will get deducted a point as well. So that's where the AR kicks in. It's all these visions of people and the arrows telling you when to turn, or telling you who to hit. It's them all trying to pass you in the game, and you get to hit them with shells or throw shells at them, and the shells bounce off of the walls as if it was like the real set you see. It is designed to go up to that wall, hit that wall that's in front of you that you are looking at, that real wall, and bounce somewhere else, based on the exact angle you put it at, too. You could have a shell bounce right back at you. You could have a shell bounce at a 45-degree angle. It's impressive. It's super impressive, but it is disorienting to me. That's all I have about it. I have played this game twice, once in Japan and once here, and it is an easy game to win. I'm not going to knock it on that. But I've also sadly came away both times with a headache, and usually I don't even get headaches from any ride. So this one just genuinely is too much for me to handle every time I go on it. But overall, there is just way too much going on, and it's all just too overwhelming for me. However, this queue is awesome, and I would do the ride again just to see this queue because I love this queue. It might be my favorite queue of all time. Even if I can admit the other two in this park are better queues, this might be my favorite queue of all time. Next, though, you will see Yoshi's Adventure, which looks like a really fun people mover, except I've heard it's just horrible in the blistering sun. And so when I go in May, my goal is to get my girlfriend, who is the biggest Yoshi fan in the world, on it, but at nighttime, which is when I think that ride excels anyways, because all the animatronics are lit up. Again, it feels more like you're in a video game in this land. I would choose to come to this land only at night if I had the choice, but we'll see if I do. As for the food, I think it all looks clickbaity in this area. I didn't totally get to try anything. They don't have a specialty drink. However, I did stop at the freestyle machines, which they let you get free water from, which is amazing. Props to Epic Universe here. But I put an LMNT electrolyte drink in it. And while this is not an ad for LMNT electrolytes, I will tell you guys to at least do your research on what electrolytes you're buying. Because Gatorade has too much sugar and other stuff has too many artificial sweeteners. LMNT is just straight to the point, an athlete's blend of electrolytes with no added sugars, no added sweeteners except for stevia, which is proven to be one of the better sweeteners around. Anyways, on to Dunk. I think this ride's fun. It's cool. It's a gimmick. It's, in my opinion, not good, though. It's pretty bad. It is really janky. It honestly feels like you're on an SLC at points. And I get it's a new ride technology, and they were just figuring it out, but it really just feels like you're in a, I don't know. It's pretty janky. And it doesn't do anything. There's no forces. It's a kids coaster with a cool gimmick and that everyone can really enjoy. But overall, it's just whatever in my opinion. I will also say this ride has the worst capacity I've ever seen in my life. I mean, why would they decide you're building a new ride and you decide to make it 4 people per train? 15-second dispatch is what we counted, and that's great. That's awesome. 15-second dispatches is amazing, but what are we doing with 4 people per car? I mean, six would make this line go so much faster. You will be waiting 3 hours for this ride, and probably because it breaks down. I'm just going to be frank about it. It probably will break down. And so, I don't know. I guess I'm going to go back on it in May just to show my girlfriend how it is, but I don't really care to go on it ever again. Closing thoughts. Epic Universe is exactly what it's hyped up to be. It is my favorite theme park ever. Maybe not my favorite amusement park ever. Um, as an entire theme, well, that and Silver Star City are so close, and Phantasialand. But if I'm talking like Disney level theme with like the dark rides and the attention to detail, I guess Phantasialand still is up at that level, but it's just so hard to beat what Epic Universe has to offer. It's just amazing. Two great roller coasters, obviously they're the exact same though, with Stardust Racers with a slight difference. The ride lineup is good in general. Two good dark rides, a Mario section which is cool to interact with and cool to be in, walk around in. Isle of Berk, which is my favorite themed land of all time, with a great family coaster. Yeah, the food offered here is absolutely incredible, and they need to keep it up. I know parks sometimes just taper off with their food after a little bit, but they need to keep this up. It's great food. I love the food here, and the park atmosphere vibe is the same as all the Disney parks or all the Universal parks around. So it's. I mean, that's absolutely unmatched. The vibe is just amazing. Seriously, you guys all need to get out here as soon as possible and experience this park with your own eyes. It is what it's hyped up to be. I promise. Um, but lastly, subscribe and hit that like button for more Gravity Profits content here on YouTube. But also follow us on all socials at Gravity Profits as well. As for now, that's all. Cade from Gravity Profits signing off. See you all next time. Remember to hydrate and keep riding.